Hi guys, welcome to Sarah Sparkles, my new tutorial videos. I'm just going to do a basic look today. Please bear with me, I do apologise if I'm not looking at the camera directly. A lot of the time I do have a mirror beside me. And yeah, it's my first time, so I may be a little bit nervous, but we'll crack on. So first of all, I'm going to take some micellar water. I'm using that, there's not much left, on a baby wipe. I tend to use baby wipes because it makes my skin a bit softer rather than a piece of tissue or a cotton bud. Now you may notice I do have quite a bit of psoriasis on my face, so I try and sort of cover that as best as I can. So if you do have psoriasis yourself, it may be worth sort of checking into this video. I've tried a lot of products for it. I found that Eucerin works quite a bit, and what I like to call my cow cream, which is Utterly Smooth Moisturising Cream. I think it was about £5-6 on Amazon, but the size of it, and I don't really need to use much of it. I've had it a few months now. It does have urea in it, so anything with urea will sort of help to calm the psoriasis down a bit if you don't want to go with the prescribed stuff that the doctors will give you. Right, so now that I'm all clean as I can be. I don't know why I'm so nervous. Normally with public speaking I am quite confident, but today, just because I've got a lot of new followers, I'm quite nervous at the moment, so please bear with me if I stutter or I zone out a little bit. So that's my urea cream all over. It feels really nice. It works as a bit of a primer as well, I've found, so just 2 in 1 really. Right. Try not to get in your eyes as I've just done, because it does sting a little bit. Possibly put a bit more. Sorry, as I've said, I am sort of using a mirror in front of me, to the side of the camera. But I'll put a bit there, because that's where my psoriasis for some reason seems to be quite bad. There, and there. Now, I've used Garnier Roll-On Anti-Dark Circles a few times in the past. I don't really tend to use much, so it does last me quite a while. So you put that under your eyes. It's a nice cooling sensation as well if you do it. And it doesn't really need much. It's just to sort of help with the dark circles. I think it's got some sort of caffeine in it that helps to eliminate them there. Use my little wedge. Let's blend that in a little bit. And I tend to use for my concealer, and this is from Primark actually. It's Golden Rose Colour and Corrector Crayon. Concealer and Corrector Crayon. I'll put a bit under my eyes. I try and cover my psoriasis with this a little bit, but not too much because it tends to irritate. There. A little bit there, but I don't want to use too much because obviously the brow will be done later on. I am thinking of buying sort of a liquid concealer as well. But for the meantime, I'm working with what I have, so blend that in a little bit. And yeah, no matter how much you admit it, everyone's got a makeup face. And a lot of the time I do find myself sort of going when I do it. So pardon me for that. I know nobody wants to see my tonsils, but it's just sort of an automatic thing, as most girls do. Especially with mascara. I found at one time that me and some of my friends had a bit of a drink and we were laughing till we wet ourselves, really, because mascara face, like when you do your mascara and your face sort of goes for some reason, you never realise until you see somebody else how crazy it looks. Right, so we've concealed. It's not a great concealer, but I find it helps just underneath the actual foundation base. So I'm using Match Perfection. It's not the greatest. It's Rimmel. It's alright, it's not the greatest. It's just my go-to, really, because it does cover quite a bit. Look, I was trying to cover my mole. It's not actually real, by the way. I just decided one day that I'd go and get a mole tattooed on, so I did. I do tend to sort of struggle with my nose sometimes. Maybe it's the oils in my nose. It always tends to look quite blotchy. But I'm working on it. Any tips that you may want to give, feel free. As I say, I'm a beginner at this. This is just the base, really, anyway. I have a bit of a darker one that sort of covers most of the cloggy effects of this, if that's the right word. Blend in a bit more, especially ladies with a bit of a double chin like myself. Try and get under there quite a bit, because we will blend that in a bit more and try and do a bit of a contour to sort of lessen that a bit for you. A bit more, I think. Starting to look a bit better already, a bit like myself. Oh look, the psoriasis. It's nowhere near as bad now. I think at the moment, with how red it is, it's going to be quite hard to cover that. But I can always put a bit of concealer over and go over it with powder, as I will do. And you'll see that later on. For now, I'm just sort of doing a bit of a base. Get it on my tensions. Right here. Get a bit of that off now. I hate having my hands dirty. Don't know about anybody else. Right. So, I quite like a lot of Rimmel. I went through a stage of getting quite a bit of Rimmel products. And then towards the end I was like, it's not great, but I'm not going to purposely buy something and then not use it. So, this is the Stay Matte. I've used a lot of Maybelline, a lot of high street stuff. As I say, it's not perfect, but for every day, I mean, I rarely really wear makeup in the day anyway. It's normally when we're having a party or we're going out. So a tiny bit of this on my little sponge here, just to sort of go over any hard areas. Especially my nose, as I say. The main areas that you want to cover, really. I found that the matte helps to sort of disguise anything I don't want anyone to see. Cover there a bit. If you're like me, you can have a combination of dry or oily T-zone. At some point I'm going to have to get a cotton bud or a wipe or something to take away the coverage on my mole, really. Right, so that's a lot better. As you can see, the psoriasis there, nowhere near as bad. And I think the powder itself will definitely cover that over. So we're good, we're on the right track. I've always said, like, makeup, I never want to go too over the top with it, unless I'm just feeling a bit, like, having a bit of fun with it. Mine's just really get a bit more confidence, and especially like myself with psoriasis, dry skin, no matter how much you try, sometimes it just makes you feel a bit meh. So I like to cover it and sort of source it out a bit there. Right, so I've done that. The next stage would be, I think we'll do a bit of a contour now, shall we? So I'm new to this as well, so please bear with me. But yeah, so my cheekbone here. Try and put a bit in that gap there. Around the hairline a little bit. And so a little bit on the jawline there as well, just to, I will be blending that in with a bit of powder. Chin. And this is where I find it quite hard because I am short-sighted and need glasses a lot of the time. So try and get from the brow down your nose. I can never get this particularly right, but God loves a trier. Possibly put a bit there and just gently. You don't want your head to look too brown. I found with a lot of products, I've got a lot of brownness, and I'm quite pale, so I don't need too much coverage and too much contour. And this again is the Primark one. I bought it with my highlighter. So I have a couple of contour brushes that I use. So firstly, I'd blend it in quite a bit with this one. So it's just a normal flat-headed contour brush. I love these, by the way. Sarah Sparkles, unicorns. So blend that in a bit there. Just buffer it. You can always add more if you need to. I don't really tend to use much of it because I'm quite pale. Blend it that way a little bit. Just buffer it, pat it a little bit to blend it in a bit more. There we go, that's a lot better. And then to be a bit more detailed with it, I'd use this one, which is an angled one. I do have the powder as well, so I'll be using that in a second. Let's get the angles sorted. Put that down. Nobody wants to look like they've just drawn on themselves, do they? Like when I was younger, I know I used to draw on myself quite a bit. I don't know why. First year of school, I drew on myself and I got kicked out of class. Don't know why. The teacher was quite mean. I think if my daughter did it at that age, should I say, I won't be too fussed. I'll probably laugh about it. Kicking someone out of the class though was a bit much, I think, but nobody really understood my old teacher at the time. Right, so again, Rimmel, and I went through the Rimmel stage. As I say, this is the Kate, which I'm assuming is Kate Moss, the London look. And it's got a little handy guide on the back. That's where I sort of learnt a lot of my tips from. So it's a highlight, contour and blush. Don't tend to use the blush much. I've got my own. But it does come in handy to look at it and use a little bit sometimes. So, the contour, I have another brush for. Which is this one. It's a bit more angled, and it allows me to sort of add a bit more of a standout effect to it. So, I just use the side of my brush, and a bit on the tip. And again, them angles there, so the cheeks. Try and angle that inwards towards your mouth line, not too much. As I say, nobody wants to look like they've drawn on the face or they've got a big smudge. So you use it sort of this like paddling, so like when you say, for example, you paint the wall like this, just gently side to side. I tend to sort of put it on with the tip and then blend it more with the side. I do love this actual colour though. As much as Rimmel's not amazing, I do love the colour of this contour. I find it matches my skin tone quite a bit. Again, just a little bit there. I'll blend that in again. Just gently there, because we don't need much there, especially in my fod. Just makes it look a bit lighter. Blend it with this. Again, there's still a bit of the colour from earlier on here, so it helps. And try and bring it down a little bit to the jawline there, and that bit to your chin. There we go, starting to look a lot better, don't you agree? Look at that there. And the chin. So the highlighter, I've got, where is it? I've got a highlighter stick, which I absolutely love, and it's called Supernova Sparkle. I think it's Makeup Revolution, which I love, and I always find it gives me a bit of a unicorn sparkle. That's where I got my name from, Sarah Sparkle Unicorn, because of this colour really. I do love a nice sparkly pearlescent colour. But first, there's a brush here, just another powder brush to use the powder. So the highlight, according to this anyway, I don't really follow all of it, but the highlight. So here, top of the cheekbone, if you can, under the eye, just gradually inwards. So another reason I use the other one, the stick, is because it stands out more. This doesn't really tend to stand out a lot. And then as we go on to doing the blush, I'll blend all of this together to make it a bit more natural looking, because we don't want it to look like too blocky, too many lines. A bit here. I don't really like using much because it makes it look a bit too prominent. And then the main one, try and get from the brow, middle of the brow down to the tip. Be gentle with this because obviously you don't want to, I've made this mistake myself, you don't really want to get rid of any of the foundation already on there. And I do highlight underneath my brow, but I'll use more of an eyeshadow for that. Right, so after that, after the powder, I'll do the exact same with this. I'm so excited when I use this. I'm such a kid, but you'll see the sparkle. I've had so many compliments on this because it's such a nice pink, sparkly peach colour. I'll just gently, again with the makeup fade, I'll just gently go over my face with it here and here. See how that reflects the light? It's absolutely gorgeous. A little bit down the nose, not too much. And there. But honestly, I went through a stage of literally slavering this on because I love it that much. We don't want to do that. So now I've got my fan brush as well. That helps sort of angle it down a bit more. Just gently go over it. Tickles quite a bit, this is nice. As much as I like doing my own makeup, I absolutely love when someone else does it for me because it's so relaxing. Just having the brushes, especially if they're soft as these. Now the brushes I'm using, I got a set of, I think it was 20, which includes all the eyeshadow brushes and things like that. It's got the angled one, the fan brush, which I love this fan brush. Again, as I say, got a bit in my face then. Yeah, so I got them from Amazon. It's U Spicy with a U.Spicy. Now I'm not sure how much these cost. It was more of a Christmas present really. I got some money and I bought them with the Christmas present money. So I can always put links in under the bottom if we need it. If anybody wants the links for the brushes, they are budget brushes, but as I say, I do love them and they're nice and soft, along with the unicorn brushes that I love using. They are very, very soft. They were Amazon as well. I do a lot of Amazon shopping, so hopefully my goal is to sort of become an ambassador with them. Anyway, I digress. So now that we've done that, I will use, it's more of a highlighting blush. It's very pink and peach. This is NYX. I love NYX stuff, but at the moment it's out of my price range. It's quite a sparkly peachy colour and it's called Angel. I love it so much. I'll just take my blusher brush now. And this is where I blend it in because it's quite a natural skin tone one. So I'll blend it in a bit more with this. just with a gentle brush. Just sort of go over it a bit more and blend it all in. I've never really liked using too much blush, especially when it turns out really red, because that just looks like a doll, and that's not what we're going for. It's sort of more of a natural look, as I say. But even that on top of the highlighter stick, it's got a very nice, as you can see there, can you see it? Yeah, I can see it. A very nice sparkle to it. So I do want to get a bit more NYX products. Right, so I think I'll put on a bit of powder now just to set it a bit. This is, again, it's a Primark standard, but because it goes with a lot of the colours I'm using and it's a bit of a matte effect, I just tend to use a little bit just to help set it. And help sort of correct anything that I've, like if there's any smudges, definitely corrects it a bit.